Honda has returned to Formula One with massive ambitions and huge expectations.
Lap 60 of 78, Lance Stroll.
But what we're witnessing this season with Aston Martin is nothing short of a wake-up call. Let me break down exactly what's happening and why Honda's boss, Koji Watanabe, is asking everyone to pump the brakes on their judgments right now. You see, when you go from dominating championships with Red Bull to being nearly 4 seconds off the pace in qualifying, it's not just a small step backwards, it's an absolute catastrophe. But here's the thing that's really interesting about this situation. Watanabe is insisting that this is a marathon, not a sprint, and Honda isn't about to throw in the towel after just a few races. Now, let's talk about the reality on track, because honestly, it's been brutal. Aston Martin has spent most of the season at the back of the grid, and when I say back, I mean they've been fighting with teams that are completely new to the sport. Their only point this entire season came from Fernando Alonso at Monaco, and even that was kind of handed to them through a combination of retirements and penalties for other teams. The pit lane speeding penalty there was due to an incorrect timing measurement, which just adds insult to injury. The main culprit here is clearly the Honda power unit, and it's so significantly behind the competition that the FIA actually had to introduce a special system called the Additional Development and Upgrade Opportunities, or ADUO, to give struggling manufacturers extra development tokens if they're more than 10% down on power compared to the best engine in the field. That's how bad things are for Honda right now. What's really telling is when Watanabe says there's no change in Honda's evaluation or commitment, but then admits that management is not satisfied with current results. That's the diplomatic way of saying, we need to fix this immediately, but we're not panicking. The long-term commitment is there, the support from management is there, but the results are definitely not there. And that's creating enormous pressure on everyone involved. Barcelona was particularly devastating. Both Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso were at the back of the grid, and the gap to even the Ferrari-powered Cadillacs stretched to a full second, which is absolutely massive in qualifying terms. And after that session, Alonso, who's driven for Ferrari, McLaren, Renault, Alpine, and countless other teams throughout his legendary career, described the Aston Martin as having the worst car and worst engine he's ever experienced in Formula One. When Fernando Alonso says something like that, you know things are genuinely terrible, because he doesn't usually throw out comments like that lightly. Both cars then retired from Sunday's race with reliability issues, which just piled on the misery. Mike Krack, Aston Martin's chief trackside officer, made a really important point when he looked at Monaco and Barcelona back to back. Monaco is all about low-speed corners and traction, while Barcelona is high-speed corners and energy management. The fact that Aston Martin struggled at both circuits tells you this isn't just a power unit problem, it's an all-round package problem. The chassis isn't where it needs to be either, and that's actually the scarier prospect, because you can't just fix a weak chassis overnight, like you might eventually fix an engine deficit. Krack was honest when he said, if it was just one thing, it would be easy to solve. But since it's everything, you've got a much bigger mountain to climb. Now, here's where it gets interesting strategically. While most other teams are constantly bringing upgrades and trying to improve week to week, Aston Martin has made a calculated decision to hold back and bring one massive package to the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa in mid-July. Adrian Newey, the legendary designer who joined the team, is involved in this major overhaul. And the hope is that when this new chassis and the Honda engine upgrade arrive together, it might finally vault them into the midfield where they belong. But even Honda's Watanabe is being careful about expectations. He's saying this won't dramatically change the situation overnight, so they're sticking with the long-term perspective. That's smart communication, because if people expect miracles at Spa and the team comes up 0.6 of a second short, that's going to be seen as another failure. By managing expectations, Watanabe is protecting the project from knee-jerk reactions and giving the team room to show gradual progress. The psychological aspect of this situation cannot be overlooked. Krack himself admitted that the weight of these struggles is affecting everyone in the garage, especially the drivers. When you're 3 or 4 seconds off the pace, it doesn't feel like you're racing in the same category as everyone else. It's demoralizing. It's frustrating. The only positive Krack could actually point to in Barcelona was a single pit stop execution that went well. That's it. 1 pit stop. That tells you how dire things have been. But here's what's actually impressive about the team's approach. Despite the obvious difficulty, they're trying to learn everything they can from these races. Krack talked about how Barcelona's energy management challenges taught them valuable lessons about their processes and how they need to adjust to maximize performance. Even at the back of the grid, there's data to be collected, lessons to be learned, and improvements to be made. Honda's message is clear. We're not happy, we're taking this seriously, but we're not going to make panic decisions. We're going to use this period to lay the groundwork for a genuine recovery. The real test will come at Spa, when that major upgrade package finally arrives. That's when we'll see if Honda and Aston Martin have truly identified their problems and solved them, or if this nightmare season is going to stretch on much longer. For now, everyone involved is asking for patience, perspective, and faith in the process, even as the results on track continue to tell a very different story.